All right. Hey guys, I'm here with Brock. Brock is a football player and he aspires to be a D1 athlete. I'm friends with Brock's father. Brock reached out to me through his dad. Dad and I hadn't seen each other for a while, but as a lot of guys are, it's like we never missed a beat. We got back together and I'm getting to know Brock. It's kind of cool that his father was an extremely gifted athlete when it comes to football. He had a scholarship. Now Brock, even physically, has better capabilities than Dad, and he has Dad in his corner to teach him a lot of the lessons and whatnot he did in football. So together, we're going to make that possible, and probably going to see Brock in the NFL someday. But today, a few weeks ago, I introduced Brock to some balance, and we talked about some things like what causes hypertrophy, what central nervous system strength building is. So we know the difference between what actually creates that tissue hypertrophy and what is skill training, where we're training our central nervous system to fire a certain way during certain movements. And I'm constantly schooling Brock on this, and we just got done talking about some nutrition, and I showed him a couple of movements we're going to start building on. But first, we're going to do our X3 workout. And today I had Brock, because we're starting out, he's doing just the basic push-pull, push-split, pull-split. We're doing some balance training, taking a day off here and there as he sees fit. And we just talked about the importance of a set with variables of resistance, how we contract the hardest. No matter how far we go into the movement, we always are contracting the hardest at whatever position we're at. And once it starts to get hard, at first it throws you off because you're used to maybe pushing a load here that feels like less here, and now it feels like less here and more here. At first it doesn't feel that bad. After a few reps you start failing and you're coming down a millimeter at a time, and you just keep going until that muscle's completely drained. And that's why instead of using 3 different loads and doing, say, 3 different sets in order to try to drain the energy out of that muscle, we are going to make that muscle contract under every load it could possibly contract under till it fails, and do the equivalent in reps of all 3 sets while doing it. So instead of doing like 3 sets of 10, we're going to do 1 set of 30. There's going to be no damage from straining in the beginning of the movement. This is creating the hypertrophy through the shoulders and the triceps and the back, some of the upper pec, things like that. So today, first movement, Brock, we're going to do the shoulder press. And as we talked, we're not going to break form. We're going to keep that same tempo no matter how hard it starts to get. And we're going to work right up until you can't hardly wiggle that bar. Okay? So go ahead and get into position, bend that knee a little bit. Get that bar up. Okay? Get your bearings about you. Everything feels good. All right? Good. Good. And you see that just the nice even tempo with static load as Brock would go up in a movement like this. It would actually start to get easier and then harder when he comes down. It's the opposite. It's getting a bit easier with blood flow still cut off, but he's pushing into that maximal contraction every time. Just like that. With static load, as it gets easier at the top, you would want to slow your reps down in order to take advantage of that. With the band becoming harder and harder and harder all the way up, it's absorbing any possibility of kinetic energy. So there's really not as big a deal in going slow with bands. There you go. Get the bar a little more over your head when you get up there. Perfect. You're almost done. You're going to keep going. Don't you even think. Do not break. Keep the bar closer to your face and keep going. Keep going, buddy. Keep going. Come on. There you go. Come on. Come on. Nice. All right. Good. All right. Right here, we're doing the chest press for Brock. And he's breathing deep right now. We're getting him oxygenated for the set. Before we do sets, we want to focus. We're up here in our mind. we're going to take in some good deep breaths for a while and get that oxygen level built up in the body. Because once we cut the tension off to those muscles, whatever oxygen we have in there is all they got. And we're going to use every last drop of it. And the more reps we can give in that closed window under more heavy, as many contractions as possible, we're going to have more receptor activation, growth factor release, things like that. All right. Let's give her, Brock. Good. Don't round forward. Nice. Don't round forward. Squeeze those pecs. There you go. Keep going. Keep that bar down a little bit. Remember? Stay on more of a decline. Get that pec. Yep. Keep going, buddy. Keep going. Do not give up. Give me 10 more. Nice. 7 more. You're halfway. Come on now. Keep your form. Do not break form. Come on. Couple more. All right. Beautiful. Good job. Good job. Now, just like we discussed, brother, just stay in that nice groove and keep in every rep, just put as much as you got into these. All right? The bar a little higher when you come out. There you go. Keep going. Now you got the groove. Now you got the groove. Won't round the shoulder forward. As soon as the tricep stops, it stops. Come on, buddy. You got it. You got plenty more. And don't you dare quit. Keep breathing and don't speed up your reps. Take your time. Come on. You got it. You got it. Keep going. Keep going. All right. As he's getting into position here. All right. So we're moving on to the split squat here quick. Now Brock had never done the split squat with the X3 before, so I just briefly explained to him a little technique to get it up onto his shoulders. And I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but Brock had just turned 16 years old. Say hi, Brock.
Hi.
And how's the workout so far?
It's intense.
All right. Another thing we can explain quick too is in this movement, a lot of times in studies that have done with static load, the quad, the different muscles will take over in different sections more so in the lift. Like you get to the bottom, one head will be a little more stressed, and then as you get to the mid-range, another one will be more stressed, things like that. And with static load, it'll always be that way because you at the most at the bottom and the least tension at the top. Okay, where the muscle feels it because of physics. With the band, we're adding tension all the way into the contraction, so those muscles don't have that, oh, I have a little less tension on me and switch off and give more to the other one. Because the tension's building, they never get to let off. So the muscles all have to engage equally from the beginning to the end. And because at the point where normally with static load, it would be getting easier and one muscle can be let off a little bit, that doesn't happen. The tension keeps, when the tension keeps going up, they have to stay equally engaged because it's just as hard as it was at the bottom. Okay? So let's go ahead and get into your position here. Always remember, okay, to keep breathing. Bring that back foot back just a little bit. There we go. Nice. Come on, buddy. Keep going. Come on. Don't let that pile drive you to the front. Control it. All right. From position. Brock just informed me is now maybe a little over 6 foot. He's about 165 pounds. You said you put on some 5 pounds the last month?
Yeah.
All right. Now remember, we have to hit 13. Brock did quit on me a couple reps early in the last one. We discussed that. I'm going to let him live this time. But next time, right?
Yeah.
All right. Don't speed up. Keep that tempo. Slow it down. Give me one more. Slow. Come on. Come down. All right. All right. So now we're going to do some skill training with Brock. Now obviously, we're doing some balance work, and as he goes up and down, we're going to get some hypertrophy out of this. But the main movement for hypertrophy was the banded split squat. And I had shown Brock the split squat belt that Dr. John Jaguars just come out with for the X3, and I'll be introducing him to that soon enough. And now the single leg squat. After we do the split squat, the legs are already fatigued. Those quads, old Brocky's quads blew up a little bit there. So we're going to see as many Bosu ball single leg squats as we can, okay? Go ahead, buddy. Don't stay so long at the top. All right, up, pause, back down, right there. Nice. Come on. Ooh, all right. We'll do 9 perfect ones, Brock. On that last one, Brock's quad was a little tired, and the body tried to compensate and put more into the glute, and then the weight went into the heel, and he couldn't compensate. He probably could have got a couple more reps, but he's not used to the fatigue of the split squat first. A little more weight in the heel. All right, Brock, widen those hands just a little bit. Want the arm straight down, but not in. Okay, there we go. Left toe, yep. And lift the other toe on your heel. Great. All right, let's go. Let's go ahead and do a set. Keep that band straight under you. Don't lock out. So you're locked. There you go. Down, up, down and up. Nice and steady, just like a piston. Come on. Come on. You got it. Be a little explosive when you come up now. Oof. Another skill training I'm going to show Brock here is dips in the rings, and I have a band here to assist him a little bit. The dip is not a completely foreign movement to Brock, but the standard dip is completely different from doing dips in the rings, and Brock hasn't even done a lot of the dipping. So with the assisted band in the bottom, we're going to have a little bit of assist, and as he comes up, then the weight is actually going to increase when he's in the safer position. This is going to allow for him to learn and build that strength curve, but the stabilization aspect, the central nervous system is going to work so hard, and it's going to assist him not only in the fact of keeping a good balance in all of his muscles and things of that nature, but moving his body through space and stabilizing like this is going to tie that central nervous system together, so he's going to have all kinds of agility and speed in almost everything he does. So today, this is going to be the last movement we do for the push day, and then we're going to go on to some stretching. I'm going to teach Brock some really important stretching so we can keep that mobility through his entire life and not have any setbacks. All right, brother, go ahead and show him what you got here, okay? Come on, buddy. Finish it out. Come on. All right. All right. What we're going to do now is I'm going to walk Brock through some stretching. We're not going to film that, but since I met Brock last time, I had shown him a few movements. One was the single leg Bosu ball squat and a few other, and Brock's been training with a split and some things that he could train with until the X3 showed up. That's why I came here today, was to run him through some of the X3 stuff and then step him up a little bit in movements. As we go along, each movement is going to keep, we're going to add some things skill training, but the ones we do, we just keep perfecting them and then adding little difficulties to keep it going along. We don't need to drastically change anything. It's just the fact of one more rep, a little more stability, maybe throw a little slosh pipe on something or a little tension here or there, and that's all we need. As we explained, Brock, the body doesn't do anything unless it's for survival, right? Mm-hmm. So if it thinks it's going to fall off of something and you're possibly going to die, that's going to be a hormonal response that's going to tell your body it needs to get better. If we go into it and do the same thing every time, our body goes, I got you. I got this. You know what I mean? But it doesn't take doing 10 sets of something and beating the crap out of yourself. It's just making that one thing you do a little more effort every time. And Brock had, since we had met and started doing that, Brock, you said something happened with your vertical.
Yeah, I think my vertical increased a lot. Like before I could barely grab the net, and now I can touch the rim. So I'm just really excited where this is going to take me in the future.
Yeah. So Dad and him have figured out maybe minimum of 7 inches or so is vertical increased within a month to 5 weeks. With that, the placement, humans are bipedal. We don't jump 2 legs at a time. We're not kangaroos. We jump 1 leg at a time, and by stabilizing that ball and squatting on one hip full range of motion, then Brock's body is able to have that center of gravity under that foot, and he's able to perfectly launch off of that, and all those muscles are in balance and in tune and pushing together where it is a straight shot, just like a spring. Where somebody has a weakness in the hip and stability, as soon as that hip moves off track in any way, you're gonna greatly reduce those efforts. So just by doing the single leg work and some of the slower tempo work, things like that, in just a few weeks, Brock's changed drastically as far as, would you say, endurance? You said your cutting's getting better, your vertical's increased, and now what we got here, we're going to perfect. And tomorrow we have pull day, so we're going to have some things in effect for that. We'll go over in a little bit. But all in all, what do you think so far, bud?
I think I'm just really excited. Where
Right.
I'm gonna go, how big I'm gonna get, how fun football's gonna get.
There you go.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.